Hi, my name is Katie and I am with Solo Wood Flowers. Today we are going to do a tutorial about building a bouquet. So to start, we have all of our flowers, and then this bouquet comes with two types of filler. This is our Princess Pine filler. This is our star filler. We have our wire stems to stem our flowers with. We have a couple other supplies. We have our lace, twine and tape to finish off the bouquet and to use as our handle. We have some bouquet grass, and it comes with glue as well. So it has everything you need to make this bouquet. Before we get started, there's a couple things we want to do. The tape that you received with the kit, you want to cut that into smaller pieces because it usually comes with a fairly long piece. It's a couple feet long. You're not going to want to use the entire length. So cut it into about maybe 12-inch pieces before you get started, or else you're going to be trying to do it with your hands full of a bouquet. So start there, and then also you want to take and separate your filler. So this filler comes in a bunch, or usually banded together, and you want to take it and pull it apart into smaller pieces. That way you can spread it out throughout your bouquet. I'm just breaking it off into just smaller pieces that are on little stems. I'm going to set them out to the side here. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my star filler. This is our star filler here. I'm just going to take it and pull it into little bunches because I don't want this whole big thing in my bouquet. I just want little pieces of it spread throughout. So I'm just going to break it off into chunks and set it aside. Then, as soon as I'm done with this, we are going to stem our flowers. For the sake of time, I have already stemmed the majority of the flowers, but I have a few here so I can show you guys how to do the stemming. All right. So to stem your flowers, here I have, this is a glue pot or a melting pot, or there's a lot of different names for it. But basically it just warms up and you can put a glue stick in there and it will melt it down. If you are stemming a lot of flowers, let's say you're getting ready for your wedding, or you're making your own wedding flowers, or you're doing a craft show, whatever, I would recommend having one of these. You can find them just on Amazon. But if you are just building a bouquet or just a home decor piece for your own home, then a glue gun will work just fine. So with the glue gun, I just take my flower and just put a little dot of glue on the back. And then I'll just take the stem and stick it right into the back of the flower. It'll take just a second for the glue to dry, but then you should be good. So I'll go ahead and stem. If you're using the pot, you can just take your flower, dip the end of your stem into the glue, and then push it through the back of your flower. Okay, just finish these last couple, and then we will get started building our bouquet. This bouquet comes with quite a few different flowers. There's some lotus flowers in it. There are auroras, bird roses, bollies, all kinds of different flowers in multiple different sizes. It's always good to have a variety of sizes in your bouquet to give it depth, or it's going to look like one solid piece if you have all the same flowers. Okay, so now that my flowers are stemmed, I have all of these ones here. Just set them in the jar to get them out of my way. Okay. I'm going to take them out and I'm just going to lay them down on the table here. Okay, now that we're ready to go, I usually like to start with my bigger flowers. That's just personal preference. You can do it how you would like, but I do like to start with some of my bigger flowers first. So this is a 3-inch carnation, and I have a 3-inch bolly here. I'm going to start with these ones. And you can add some little flowers in. Once I get a couple flowers in my hand or in my little bundle, I will start to add some filler. I'm going to take a little bit of star filler and I'm just going to add it right into the bouquet there. And then add a little bit of our Princess Pine along with it. I'm just using raw flowers in this bouquet. You can dye your flowers. We have a separate tutorial for that if you would like to know how to dye your flowers. But these ones are just our raw flowers. This is the natural color that the flowers come in. It's like an off-white color. It's not like a bleached bright white or anything. It is more of an off-white. Okay, so now I've got my filler. I'm just going to continue to add flowers. So you can see what I've got going here so far. All right. Add a bit more filler. You can spread it out. You can spread it out even more so than I do if you want to tear your filler apart into smaller chunks. That will just be personal preference. I have these wild, I don't know if you guys can see these wild pieces of filler here. I'm not going to worry about those right now because I'm just going to trim them off at the end. That's not a big deal. All right. Okay. All right, I'm just going to continue adding my flowers and filler. I'm kind of getting it shaped as I go, but when I get closer to the end, I will start arranging my flowers, pulling some up, moving them down, just to get the shape that I want. But for right now, I just want to get most of my flowers in there and ready to go. I love this Princess Pine filler. It's one of my very favorites and one of our best sellers. It's beautiful. It'd be perfect for Christmas, for any Christmas or holiday arrangements. Okay. All right, so this is what we have so far. It's kind of starting to take shape a little bit. There's a few flowers that are a bit wonky or look out of place, but that's okay. We're gonna fix those ones. Add a little bit more filler on this side. Maybe a little bit more Princess Pine. And then just continue adding my flowers. That is one thing that you're gonna have. It's inevitable if you're working with hot glue, you get the glue strings. But I'll just pick those off when I'm done. I'm not gonna do it right now. All right, so we're getting there. Our bouquet is starting to take shape. So now if you can see, this side over here kind of has like a dip in it. I'm gonna just fill that in with some flowers. Actually, I'm gonna use a little bit of filler first. This side doesn't have a whole bunch of filler. All right, looking pretty good so far. Okay, now I need to start working on this side over here. A little more filler first before I start adding flowers. I definitely recommend adding the filler as you go. You can add it after, and I have done that before. It just makes it easier if you just do it as you go. But it's, if you see a place on your bouquet when you're done where it's just totally missing filler on that side of the bouquet or something, you can totally add it in. And I'll show you guys how here in just a minute. Okay, so now that I have the basic shape of my bouquet, I'm going to start kind of arranging it a little bit just to make it more round, give it a little bit, some layers, pull some flowers up, move some down just a little bit just to get the shape that I'm looking for. And I just will reach in here in between the stems of my bouquet and just grab the stem of the flower and just move them around as I need to. Okay, as you can see right here on this side of the bouquet, right here we have a big hole where there's no flowers. So I'm gonna add some in, and all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my flower, I'm gonna stick the stem down in about where I want it to be. And just slide it right in there. Now we don't have that hole where there was no flowers. Need another flower on this side, I think. Add that piece of filler in first, and then we're going to add this bird rose. Okay. So far, so good. Okay, so now I still have a couple flowers left. You can add as many flowers as you want if you want a larger bouquet. This bouquet does come with quite a lot of flowers, so I'm not going to add all of them. You can add more, you can use less, whatever you want to do, just depending on the look you're going for. So now that I've got my bouquet made and my shape is there, I'm just going to take a piece of my tape that I cut earlier, And I'm just going to tape the stems of my bouquet. I'm going to pull it pretty tight so that all your hard work isn't going to waste and the flower's moving around. All right. I usually use about 3 pieces when I tape the flowers and the stems and the filler together. That's usually pretty solid. I'm an over taper. I might like to make sure it doesn't move. All right, so this is what we have. And now we are going to add our bouquet grass in. So this is our bouquet grass. Let me get it open here. And this is used to, some bouquets you don't, or depending on what filler you need, you may not need the bouquet grass, but the bouquet grass is just gonna cover our stems here. So I don't want all these wires showing. If you have a few wires showing, it's not a big deal, but I wanna try and hide most of those and give my handle a bit more thickness. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of the grass at a time. And I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna slide it up into my bouquet around the handle. This will help cover the stems, give us a better handle. And I just kind of work my way around, adding little bits as I go. You really want to make sure that you push it up in. That way you don't have like this weird line where your bouquet grass starts and then you have a gap and then your flowers. All right, just a little bit more, just cover this last piece. And then we should be good. Okay, I'm just gonna take the top of my bouquet. I have a pretty solid flower right here. I know I'm not gonna smash it. I'm gonna hold on to the grass and kind of let loose of the stems a little bit and just really push all the grass up in there. Now for this, because your bouquet is already taped, the bouquet grass isn't heavy or it's not gonna go anywhere. That's not a very big piece of tape. I'm just gonna use 1 piece of tape on this. You don't need much for that. Move it up a little. All right. Okay, so this is what we have so far. And now we definitely don't need all this length. The stems come clear down here. We're gonna trim some of this off so that our bouquet is a nice length. And I'm just gonna use, these are Fiskars trimmers. These are just a pair of Fiskars shears. You can get them at Walmart in the garden center or online, anywhere. These are the ones that I like to use the most. I'm gonna do it over the garbage can, so make it dangerous. The rule of thumb that I've heard for cutting your bouquet stems is that you're supposed to have like 2.5 fist lengths down. So that's kind of what they say for how long you want it. I mean, I think it's personal preference. I just kind of always cut long though. Cut longer than you think you want first, because you can always cut shorter, but you can't make these stems grow. So I'm just gonna cut it down here and then we'll take a look and see what it's looking like on that side and see if we need to trim it more. Okay, so it looks like a pretty good length. If I was holding it up, like if this was my bridal bouquet or something, that's a pretty good length. So I'm gonna leave it there. And then I am going to, this kit comes with twine and it comes with lace to cover our handle in. So I'm going to start with the twine. It comes with quite a bit of twine. I'm gonna lay that out on the floor. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take my glue gun and put a little bit of glue on the tape where I tape my bouquet grass. And then I'll stick the twine to it and let that dry for just a second. And then we're just gonna wrap our stems with the twine. That way it gives it a nice like finished handle. It'll look really pretty. A lot of people kind of line theirs up so their twine is all even and stuff. I just kind of like to go with mine. Usually turns out pretty good. Make sure I just make sure you cover all your tape. That's really the only thing that needs to happen when you're doing your bouquet handle. You just don't want to see that green tape poking through. It is green, so it kind of blends in, but Okay, so now that I've got that all wrapped, I'm going to glue the tail end of my twine down same way. I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, dab it on there, and then lay this across. I do mine a little bit longer just so I have somewhere to hold and I'm not burning my finger. Let that sit for just a second. I'm going to trim these wild pieces on my bouquet next. We've got a couple wild ones, but they're easy just to clip off and get out of here. These are super easy to trim. You could use scissors. You can pull them out, but I just clip them. Makes it faster and easier. All right. Okay, so this is what we have so far. And there's our bouquet. I really like the neutral flowers against the green, and then they're just a tannish colored star filler. I really like the look of that. So now we're going to add our lace. You can do yours, you can tie a bow, you can just wrap it around like we did the twine, you can do whatever you want with your lace. I'm just going to tie mine in some knots and kind of give it like a dangly look, I guess, at the ends. I'll show you how I'm doing it. So I'm just starting at the bottom of my twine. Here, I'll hold it up so we can see. I'm just going to start at the bottom of my twine here. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of even out my ends a little bit. I'm going to just take it and tie it in a knot, just like when you're first starting to tie your shoes. And then I'm going to wrap it around my twine again. So I'm going to take this piece over here. I'm going to wrap this piece around the back to this side now. So it's coming around to both sides of the front again, and I'm going to tie another knot. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. I really like this look. It's super easy, and it makes the bouquet really pretty. All right, then I'm going to do that just one more time. So it'll have 3 little knots, I guess, or little twists in it. Doesn't really look like a knot. And at the top I'm going to tie 2 just so it doesn't come undone. Okay, so this is what we have now. Get this one out of the way so you can see. It's just knotted a little bit there. You can trim if you want, you can trim the pieces of your lace. You can do layers of lace. You can tie it in a bow. You can do whatever you want. I'm just going to leave these ones hanging. This is our Napa Valley Bouquet Kit. It is available on our website. It comes with everything you see here, so everything that you need to make your own bouquet. You can check it out at www.solowoodflowers.com.